was the question? Hey guys, today we're in a bit more of a scenic place because I'm making use of the wonderful weather we've been having recently. And what I'd like to talk to you guys about today is a couple of frequently asked questions that I've seen appear on this one Facebook group that I'm a part of. This is a Facebook group specifically for teachers in Poland who are teaching English, and this got me to think that I guess that there are a lot of people who have very similar questions, and I would like to share a couple of my personal experiences that could maybe help you to not to make the same mistakes that I did, but to get to where I am faster than I did. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So the first most popular question was how to find clients, or how to find enough clients to support yourself. And I guess the quickest answer is that it all just starts with one client. Once you have one client, everything else is just downhill. When I first came to Poland and I thought that I could use my English skills to make money, I set up a profile on a platform that was specific for native speakers who wanted to teach English in Poland. I'm sure that in other countries they have something similar. On this platform, I needed to post my profile picture, a short description about myself, and a price. I put quite a lot of effort into my description, and I think that was a good thing. I put in my schooling, like where I went to school, what type of person I am, like my interests, and I got quite a lot of feedback, like emails, I guess, from this website. My first client was a lady who actually owns a language school, and she was looking for teachers to teach her students. And once I got that, I mean, just mostly through like word of mouth, more and more students started to appear. So that brings me to the second question that appeared. My dog is choking on a stick. So that brings me to the second question, which is how and where to advertise. So like I said, the first place that I advertised was on this platform. But when, the downside to this was that I was getting a lot of offers from people in many different parts of the city, some of which were quite far away, and because I was young and naive and I thought that if I don't say yes to everybody, I won't earn enough money to support myself, I was traveling 45 minutes to and from my clients. And when I moved cities, I didn't want to make the same mistake again. So I took a lazy approach, and I printed out these really very basic little adverts. I think they just had like a British flag and like a short little description about me and that I'm offering English lessons in this area, and with my email address. And I got quite a couple of emails in my inbox from people who saw this. I put these pieces of paper up in different staircases in blocks of flat around my area, and I mean, I didn't get like hundreds, but I think I got about 4 or 5, and that was enough to get more, because once I had these 4 or 5 and these people realized that they enjoy learning with me, they passed the information on, and my group of clients grew really quickly after that. I'm sure that there are many different ways that you can advertise. I know other teachers who have their own website. I'm sure you could do it on Facebook as well. But I think that what I would like other people to know is that really it just takes having one client, one student who is happy with the way you teach and is happy with their improvement. And just by them passing that information on to the next person, you're fine. Another question was, what if you're living in a small town? And I'm guessing that this question not only relates to the fact that you have a smaller client base, or you have less people who are willing to learn, but also to the rate that you can give. Because obviously in smaller towns, people aren't willing to pay as much for English lessons. And to this, my answer is using wonderful technology. Just to give an example, I was teaching in Wrocław for a couple of years, and I was really worried when I was moving to Gdańsk, which is on the other side of Poland. I was worried that I would lose a lot of my students, and I would have to just go through the whole process of finding new clients again. But surprisingly, a lot of my students still wanted to stay, and they stayed with me over Skype, and we're still able to have a really good connection, and we're still able to have good lessons, even though we're in two different cities. So being in a small village or in a small town doesn't necessarily mean that you have to teach the people in this village. You can be teaching people in other cities, in other countries, online. Another question was, how do you deal with competition if there are many language schools in your area? And my answer to that is, if there are many language schools in your area, it's a good sign, because it means that there are a lot of people who want to learn English. I taught in a couple of language schools over the couple of years, and what they usually look like is that it's groups of students. Even language schools that say that they have really small groups, a small group is 4 to 6 students. And what I noticed is, or what was frustrating for me, was that my students weren't getting to a level, or weren't improving as much as I knew that they could. And I could see the difference between students that I was teaching individually and students that I was teaching in a group. And I think that a lot of the students who came to me from language schools were students who were frustrated with the same thing. They were looking for a cozier environment, a place where they could feel more comfortable, where they could have a conversation just like between two people, where they could use their use the language more than in a classroom that's shared with other people. So in conclusion, I wouldn't stress about competition. I noticed that there will always be someone who is looking for you, so you don't necessarily have to look for people. There will always be someone who will look for the way that you teach and will enjoy your style and will pass this information on. Another, I guess, important question that appeared on this forum or on this Facebook group, whatever, was, how do you survive financially? And I know that this can be quite a scary thing, because yeah, the prospect of not having a stable paycheck at the end of the month can be quite scary. But honestly, I've never had a problem with it. It all just depends on how many hours you want to teach and how much energy you have and how much you actually like what you're doing. I had a time in Wrocław where I was absolutely just exhausted from the amount of, because I couldn't say no to people, so I was just taking on all offers that were coming my way. And yeah, you could go ahead that way. You could earn a lot of money and take on everybody, or you can earn less and have more time for yourself. So a couple of years ago, I decided to start my own business, and I think that was like the best decision that I've made. Of course, it was something that I had to grow up into, but having my own business, I cooperate with other language schools, but then on my terms. So that means that I set my own price, a higher price than I did in the beginning, but I also learned how to say no to different offers. So if I got an offer that was at some company that would take me a half an hour to 45 minutes to commute, I would say that I can't do it because it's too far for me, or I just don't have the time. And this took me a while. I wish I had actually done this earlier. It took me a while to get to this point, the saying no part, because I thought that if I would tell a potential client no, I thought, oh my God, I won't have another opportunity like this. But the minute I said no, what happened is that another opportunity appeared where it was a company that was like 5 or 10 minutes from my doorstep. And if I would have said yes to the previous client, a potential client, yeah, you get the point. So that's one thing I changed. I started saying no, and I started only taking clients that were in my area. Another thing is that I put my price up. I don't know if I should talk about this. I hate talking about money, so this is going to be a very embarrassing topic for me. But I put my price up, and I was a little bit scared in the beginning because I thought that if I have a higher price, then less people will want to learn English with me specifically, since they have cheaper options. But this actually wasn't the case. The clients that started writing to me were clients who, for them, this price was okay. So that was also quite a shock that I could have done this, a long time ago. Another thing is, I think that if people are really happy with your service and with what you do, for them to pay more is absolutely fine as long as they're getting what they want. So I think the most important advice that I would give past me 10 years ago, or what I would have loved to have known, is, first of all, be confident in the way that you teach and in yourself as a person, so in like what you're offering. And second of all is to not be afraid to say no to offers that you don't feel comfortable with. So be it that the price is too low or the location is too far, because there will always be somebody else. And yeah, I think those are the two things that I wish I would have done earlier. I know that there are probably more questions, so if you guys do have some questions about how to start being an English teacher and how to start earning money and how to survive in this profession, I would love to hear your questions, and maybe I can make another video that can answer them and help you out. So go ahead, I would love to hear from you. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. I'm making the most of the fact that we have beautiful weather. I hope you guys are too. So till next time, goodbye.